Hi guys, we're back. We're here to do Married at First Sight, season 18, episode number 7. So let's get right into it, shall we? Ikeche and Ikeche, yeah, are waking up, and he's telling her that she hugs the bed. And then he's telling her, or he's trying to set expectations about going to his apartment. And he calls them meager dwelling. He calls it a meager dwelling. And he said, don't look at me like I'm down bad, if my place, about my place. Because it's, whatever. And she was like, well, okay, but why would you have to be down bad? I just thought it was a ridiculous conversation on his part. So Madison shows up after her night out, and the next day. So Alan, people pleaser. I'm a people pleaser too, so I can recognize it when I see it. And he should have been more firm. Let her know that he was disappointed that she didn't want to spend the first night, with him, instead of putting icing and frosting on it and telling her that everything's okay. So then they had this whole hoopty conversation. And when she was like, what is that? That was interesting. And then she was like, well, who says that? And instead of him saying black people or the hood, he was like, well, people. Come on, Alan. Go ahead and tell the truth. Get the people the credit now. Don't sit up and appropriate and then don't finish, where you got it from. She asked you a legitimate question because she didn't know. And you should have gave her a legitimate answer instead of waffling. I didn't like that. Because he's too much in our culture not to give people credit for it. That is, I have a whole, you already know how I feel about colonialism and now white appropriation of black culture. So Carla apparently is unhoused, which is interesting. Maybe she didn't want to talk about it because of David's whole situation, which was wise, I think. So we get to see her storage, and she goes to pick up a couple of things out of it. And she says that she thinks that Juan likes to have fun too much. And, I'm going to, I love having fun. If I was going to be addicted to something, fun would be it. So I kind of get Juan on that. I'm still waiting to see serious Juan before I, give him a pound and, some depth about that, because I want to see if he knows how to balance himself. So I think in the after show he said he was surprised that she was unhoused. I'd have to go back and look at that and come back and let y'all know later. So David and Michelle are sitting and waiting on the experts to arrive. And he was feeling a little anxious. He said he felt like he's at the principal's office waiting, to be seen. And she's like, oh, did you get in trouble a lot? And he said, no, I never got in trouble. I've never had a speeding ticket. I'm what I would consider to be a goody two-shoes. So I thought that was interesting. And then Dr. Pia and Dr. Cal come in. And Dr. Pia put down a receipt on Michelle because she's sitting up here mad of his time when she was so thirsty to get on the show that she actually didn't tell the truth about how she felt about somebody living with their parents. And when Dr. Pia asked her during the intake process, she was, oh yeah, if he's, got money saved and he's ready to move, then of course it's no problem. And Michelle, you don't have enough information. I haven't heard enough information from David about his finances and what kind of house he can afford, and just his whole plan. I think that is something that she needs to flesh out more before she just kind of puts him down as being this dude who is spouting BS to her. And I was saying to someone, in the comments before, that people, when they live by themselves, they don't live the same way that they do when they're with someone. And skipping ahead, when we see his apartment, That's exactly it. I don't think that people were calling it dirty. Some people accused him of having his bed on the floor, um, and all this, that, and the third. People were feeling some kind of way because he didn't have a living room, because the table was too big for the kitchen. I actually agree with that. And I think that the way that David sees the basement is, I mean, this is a house he probably grew up in. So he doesn't see it the same way that an outsider, would see it. So I kind of, I was disappointed in it myself. I think that he was overhyping the basement. It does look cluttered. I wouldn't go so far as to call it dirty. But she said that he asked her, well, does this, change your mind in any way? And she was like, no, it looks like a 20, no, she said it looks like what I thought that it would look like. Then I think in the outtake, she said that it reminded her of a 20-something person, who would live there. So yeah, she's not impressed with his apartment. But going back to the conversation that the experts were having with her, they were trying to flesh out from her what was it that is bothering her about David living in the basement apartment. And she basically kind of goes back to what she was doing at the wedding, because she was like, well, yeah, he really didn't make it clear. Well, he actually did make it clear. And then she was basically kind of saying that, well, I'm really kind of confused, and he hasn't really explained. And I mean, the explanation that he sat there and gave, I looked at her and she wasn't listening to him, because she's already fixed in her mind about what she thinks a person in their 30s, or she has it in her head that a person in their 30s should be living a certain way, and they should be doing certain things, and they should have a certain amount of money, in the bank account, and this, that, and the third. Not understanding that everybody's life doesn't go, the way your white life does, Michelle. And I'm really curious as to what kind of black man she's been dating. Rudy keeps asking her on the after party what's her type, and then she keeps saying that she doesn't have a type. Like, we don't have memory of what you said your type was. That's why they put you with David. They could have put you with some other white dude, Michelle, with a corporate job. And that's what you should have said that you wanted. She's more mad at herself, I think, because she wasn't more specific about what she wanted and put firm lines, down. She kind of left it open, and you left yourself open to be in this experience, like this, Michelle. I don't feel sorry for you. And I don't feel sorry for David either, because you got your white queen. Oh, I'm really happy. I think she's very attractive. I'm like, I don't understand how. See, I couldn't get away with acting like this and still being considered pretty. The ugliness in my personality would have made me ugly to anybody else. So I don't understand why he's giving her this wide path to be the level of bitch that she is, and then he still finds her attractive. That is showing, that's like simpology 101, David. I'm looking at you like you are a simp at this point. And I'm going to need to see some testosterone. Don't tell me I got more testosterone than you do, David. I'll be highly disappointed. So what else are we doing? What else did they talk about? Oh, she kind of got choked up when Dr. Peel was asking her, is she doing all this because she likes to be in control, and because, she has been in a relationship where a person who wants to take care of her is trying to do that. David said he can't open the door for her. He can't get her bags. He can't do nothing. She's like, I could do it myself. And she said that she was doing that because she felt smothered. And he told her that he understands that that's how she feels, but it's going to take him some time to break free of being that kind of courteous, because it's just something that he just naturally does and he wants to be able to do, for his wife. That's what I got, from it. Just really a mess. And then she wants to sit up act like she got the little catch in her throat. I was like, girl, I'm not doing this with you. So then Dr. Carol was like, well, what is the definition? What's your definition of success? And David told her that it wasn't necessarily money focused. If he got a roof over his head, if he got a little money in the bank, if he got his family around him, he got his health. He said he finds, he has a career. He's got something he likes to do, get up and do every day. He's got his hobbies. So he considers that kind of stuff to be a success. And while hers is more financial focused. Oh, so now I'm going to be looking like that I'm just a money, just all I care about is money. Because that's all you care about, Michelle, is money. I mean, just go ahead and tell the truth. And see, the thing is, if she had got somebody with money, but then the personality wasn't there, then she'd be bitching about that. So she's just, I'm moving on from Michelle because I'm not doing this for her. So where are we? I've got the scenes that I put up are out of order. That's why that's another reason why I went ahead and put that bonus episode up, because I said that I wasn't going to put any after party episodes up. But that was so good. What Thomas said, I couldn't resist. And then because I mixed everything up, and it took me so long to load this episode, that I went ahead and put the bonus clip up. So that's my rationale. So I have here that Camille and Thomas are next. And Camille is still stuck on he doesn't have swag. And I like what Thomas said in the after party, that it's to a point where it's starting to offend him that this is where she is. Because the world sees him as a black man. And that's the way he sees himself. He's a black man. And I hear a lot of bigotry in the black community about this whole light skin business. I'm full black. I'm not mixed with anything. And I still get the same thing that Thomas gets. I was raised around all black people. From the country. Went to a black school. And I'm still not black enough. So, I already have found out there's a mental sickness happening with black people. And what they have done to me is now I'm to the point where I don't identify with the culture that way anymore. And I'm okay with it. I really am separating myself. Now I'm separating myself from the culture. Before, I always wanted to be a part of it. And I wasn't allowed to be a part of it. And I've always been shunned out of it. So now I don't want to be a part of it. I am my own person. I walk to the beat of my own drum. And even though, like Thomas said, I'm identified as black through the world, I'm not going to run away from that. But am I going to embrace the culture when I know how sick-minded black people are? No. I'm done. So the experts, they're talking to them and they ask them, things that try to give them tips to help them kind of come together and get over any differences that are happening, like with the whole culture thing, and do that level of compromise. So Cal was like to Thomas, she may want to bump you up in your dress. And Dr. Pepper was like, he may want you to wear stilettos, to bed or whatever. So you guys are going to have to kind of figure out what you like, and then who's willing to do what at what point to make the relationship, a cohesive combination. So, what do I have next? So Madison and Alan are sitting down with the experts. And Madison is sharing again that she's not sexually attracted to Alan. I think that Madison is doing a better job at communicating to Alan. I think she has some microaggressions that she's doing, whereas Michelle is doing open aggression. Staying out all night going out with the first night that y'all are in the new apartment, in your new marriage. I mean, you ain't been married a week. And already, you just been married probably about a week. And now you are ready to just get away, from him. So much so that you stayed out all night. I thought that was, really irresponsible. And I thought that she avoided Dr. Pepper's question. I wasn't impressed with her answer. Cal was. He kind of gave her a break because she was saying that she's not trying to change Alan, but then the things that she would like to see in her husband are things that he would have to change. So she's trying to figure out where is the balance between that. And so he kind of piggybacked off David when David was talking, and he was saying that he hadn't had a cigarette because she said gross at the wedding. And Michelle was like, I don't want to change him. Yes, you do, Michelle. Stop lying now. Yeah, you've been honest all this time, so stop lying that you don't want to change him. Or you wish that he wasn't different. You do wish that man was a different version of what is in front of you right now. And he was saying that he's cool with change because he at the beginning of the season, he wanted to stop smoking. So he's using this as an opportunity to go ahead and put that into practice. So he's saying that if it's a change that's going to make them better as a unit, then that's change that he's willing to engage in. And that's what Cal was saying, is that if you're changing for the betterment of what you're trying to accomplish together, then that change is actually beneficial change. And that should be something that should be embraced. So Camille goes to Thomas's apartment. It's simple. She's happy to see that he's got Jordans for some reason. His suits look neat. He has a neat home. He has OCD because she took that candle out. And then when she put it back, he was like, thank you for putting that back, because that would have bothered me. I laughed at that. I can't be around people who have to have things in a certain place. Me and them would never I couldn't live with a person like that. So kudos to you, Camille. Alan, the next scene I have is Alan and his hoopty take Madison to his house. I was surprised because I thought that Madison wouldn't like his closet. So she didn't mind it. He was showing her his little bomber jacket, his fur bomber jacket. And he showed her the remodel. The most impressive thing I saw out of him was his remodel in his kitchen. And apparently he's a great cook because Juan said that he cooked for the group, throughout the season. There were times that he cooked for them. And Alan confirmed. So that's good. Madison and him were eating later that I have. They were talking about religion. And she tasted it, and because she said that she was hungry too. She said she was starving. So the fact that she was starving and his food was good was like, boom. It was like a spontaneous combustion in her mouth. Oh my goodness, so that was cute. Okay, so Keche is showing MM his apartment. His apartment is not meager. If you look at those windows, those are floor to ceiling windows. I kind of look at that view. That view is spectacular. So he's trying to do this humble brag so that when she walked into the apartment that she would be relieved and impressed instead of being what he was trying to. It's almost the same thing that Alan was doing with the hoopty. That's what he was doing with my meager, apartment thing. So MM said that she wasn't surprised, that she kind of felt like this was what it was going to be. Somebody, I think it was the lady Courtney of Courtney and Eddie, Co-Ed, she was accusing MM of bragging about her apartment. She said that when they were looking at Ikechi's apartment, that MM was like, well, wait till you see my apartment, and wait till you see my apartment, and wait till you see my apartment. She didn't do any of that. That's another reason why I load up these videos for you guys to see, because you're relying on these people's memories in order to talk about this stuff. And their memories are faulty. So you get a chance to see the episode for yourself and get the understanding for yourself without having to take what they say at face value, because she was giving hate for nothing and putting something in her mouth that the woman didn't say. So when they go to MM's apartment, Ikechi, to me, gets a complex. And he wasn't expecting her apartment to look the way that it does. She said that she has had in the past where men have been intimidated by her apartment. So I guess she wasn't doing too much talking about it. And it's an upstairs. It's got a wraparound balcony. The kitchen is kind of basic. I mean, it looks like a regular apartment-sized kitchen. It wasn't, kind of decked out like Alan's. His had a little more personality, to it. So yeah, I thought that was interesting, his attitude. So she said that she likes to karaoke. So I wonder if they're gonna do that when they have the housewarming, party. His whole vibe this episode was just off. If people were saying that he was off during the honeymoon, this mess that he pulled this last episode, not nice. It was not nice, Ikechi. You could have done a better, job. Where is it? Did I talk about Michelle? Oh, okay. So I skipped one. So Michelle, she comes in. She didn't come back. When the experts left, she left. And she stayed out all night. But she texted David to let him know that she wasn't going to come back that night to the apartment. Which was really funny because she did all that bitching about him sending her text message. So now she decided that, okay, I'm going to go ahead and text him. And look at me improving. No, bitch, this is not improvement. Okay, this is what you could have been doing the entire time. So I don't count this as improvement, Michelle. My goodness. So where are we? So Juan needs an interior decorator. For him to be and look the way that he looks, his place should have reflected the way that he looks. I mean, it just looked like some random dude's apartment with a whole lot of random stuff. And that, what was it? A drywall cart? Is that what he called it? The thing that you put lumber on at Home Depot? Girl, he had his television sitting on this thing. He got this hammock in his living room. He got the little bearskin rug. I don't remember seeing the bedroom. And Carla was asking him, well, if I were to move in here with you, then what would we, how would I be incorporated into this space? And he was like a dude. Juan is really like a dude. And I don't like that. He is missing a sensitivity chip. Because he basically told her that she could get rid of her stuff. Yeah, she'd come live in there. But she wouldn't be able to bring her stuff in there to go with his stuff, because he likes his stuff the way that it is. And he doesn't foresee why she would need to really bring that much. This man is not ready to be married. I don't even know what these people are thinking about. I mean, even I understand that you have to be willing to switch up your whole thing. That thing that he's got going on ended when he decided to meet her at the aisle and get married at first sight. I don't know what it is that makes him think that she is, or any woman. It doesn't even matter if it's Carla or not. No woman is going to go up in there and live in that house with you, Juan, the way that it is. The way that it is that we saw in this episode. No woman is going to be able to do that with you. And the fact that he doesn't understand that is mind-boggling. So I really wasn't impressed with him in that scene. Okay, where are we now? Camille is talking to her friend, no, her sister, and she's still talking about Alan and his swag, his lack of swag. And she's saying that even though they are similar in the way that they look, both of their mothers are of another persuasion. They're not black. I don't know what Alan's mother is. I don't think she's white. I think she's like Hispanic. And the dad is black. And her mom, her biological mom, is white. I don't think that that woman that was with her dad at the brunch is her mom. I think that's her stepmom because her dad got divorced. So, remember her and Alan, they were talking. I mean, not her and Alan, her and Thomas. And he was telling her that he was adopted. And she was saying that her parents got divorced. So, that was another woman that was at that table. But anyway, her mother's white and her dad is black. But they are similar. And she says that she feels like they're in an interracial relationship. That was a head scratcher. That I was like, wow. So she said that she's looking forward to going to the brother's pool party so that she can kind of see how he interacts with the people that his friend group, and to glean some more information, about him. So, Alan, I already talked about Michelle going over to visit David's apartment. And I think I said that he went to her apartment. If I didn't, they went to her apartment, and he called her apartment simple, which actually I agree with everybody else that I've seen to review the show. It was simple. It wasn't anything ostentatious about it. She didn't have it wasn't like it was like MM's apartment. MM's apartment kind of, you could smell money. You could see money in it. You could smell it all the way through the screen. I didn't smell money coming out of Michelle's apartment. Well, I work hard. I work hard for what I have. And blah, 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 blah. And so when David was saying that his apartment was basic like hers, she ain't like that either, David. Because she doesn't think that you're out of her league. Okay? You living in the basement, child. You cannot put yourself and compare what you're doing to what she's doing on any level. Okay, let us get that together. You are of a lower persuasion than she is. And that whole thing coming out of your mouth, yeah, no, that's offensive to her. So, then she has 2 cats and a dog. Her sister has a dog. I don't know who's coming over to take care of the cats for her. Or a cat. I don't know if she's got 2 or 1. But we saw 1. I don't know about that. And David was playing with it. She was like, what did she say? I think she said something about it being desperate. I guess desperate for attention. Do you not pay attention to your cat? That it has to, be desperate, Michelle? Lord, have mercy. So anyway, Alan goes get his dog, Luffy, and he needs to train that dog. That's embarrassing for him to be doing all of that on pillows and a couch that don't belong to you. This is not your house, Alan. And that is just inappropriate. When you bring pets around somebody else's stuff, they need to be respectful. Just like your children. You don't want your children running around in somebody's house and touching on their stuff and jumping up and down on their sofa and their furniture and their pillows and stuff. Then it's the same thing with the animals. And if that dog is not trained, then it shouldn't be in this apartment. I mean, that stuff doesn't even belong to Married at First Sight. I'm sure they rented all that stuff. That's disgusting, Alan. And I like dogs. And I like, having them in the house and stuff. But the dog has to be trained. So, anyway, the last scene I have is when Carla and Juan are talking to the experts. And Carla is recounting. She said that she wants him to be more mindful of the stuff that comes out of his mouth and his mannerisms, because she's finding it to be a challenge, you know, for her, because she's more serious. And she actually said this in that last episode when they were all around the table before they got ready to leave Mexico. She was saying that he's up here and she's down here, so she doesn't know how that is going to be able, you know, to work. So I think she's still feeling that way. And she recounted what he did when he was telling her about David. When I think she told him about it, but then he actually went into the story of it. And Dr. Pepper kind of scolded him for that. She said, yeah, when you're a couple and you've been together for a while, then yeah, you can have that kind of conversation. She said, but this is too brand new for you to be that euphoric that you have now forgotten that you got a whole person. And Carla was like, well, he's going and telling me all this wonderful experience that he's had with David. She said, I could have used some of that. So I don't know why he just didn't take her back up there. He should have gave her that opportunity, because he saw how much she enjoyed the massage. So that could have been something that they could have done, you know, together. He could have been like, you know what, I had such a good time with David that would you be interested in going up there? I could go up there again and, you know, see and let you, you know, have that experience, you know, with you. He actually could have fixed that if he hadn't gotten his feelings. So Dr. Cal, I'm sorry. I don't know why this thing keep moving. Anyway, so Dr. Cal was noticing their lack of intimacy, that they weren't touching each other. And he was like, are you pulling back? And Juan said that, yeah, he is, because he doesn't want to kind of dive in into his feelings, because he's done that in the past and it hasn't worked out for him. Juan, you're married. You're going to have, he is not separating his single self to let go of that so that he can come into a married relationship. He's not making that transition. And he doesn't want to be vulnerable with Carla, on one hand. On the other hand, I kind of, you know, am not going to go in on him about it, because Carla was passive aggressive, and that was brought up too. So anybody who's passive, if I find out, you let me find out that you've done something passive aggressive, that I have to figure out that you've done that, then yeah, I'm not going to mess with you no more. So the fact that he actually sitting down on that couch for her is a bonus, because I would have been out. I don't play that. You are an adult. You have a mouth. You use that mouth, especially when she was on that bus telling everybody about the magic stick and everything. So if you can sit up and talk about that on a bus full of strangers with a camera in your face, then you are adult enough to come up and tell me when I've done something to offend you, because now it's affecting our relationship. And so they we'll see if they're able to kind of overcome this hurdle, you know, that they're at. And Dr. Pepper, she kind of scolded Carla and told her that what she was doing was withholding and using it as a weapon. And I actually agree with that. I mean, once you get to a certain age, at a certain point, and now that you're embarking on marriage, there's some behaviors that you're just going to have to let go of. And you're going to have to sacrifice what you would have done as a single person, and now move away from that and go ahead and put that energy and that time in this new space and place. And she was saying that for her, what she's trying to do is to implement all the stuff that she has learned in the years that she's been by herself out of her previous, you know, relationship. So, I don't know. I kind of lost hope for Carla and Juan after this episode, because Juan is just, he has a wall up, and that's never going to be successful. So, yeah, I hope that you guys got a chance to go back and look at the scenes and really just pay attention. I mean, I found that, you know, a lot of the reviewers, they're missing some information. and how they're recounting this. And that's another reason, again, that I decided to go ahead and just load up the whole episode for people to be able to watch and see it, for themselves, and not take, I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want you to be able to compare what I've said to what you've seen for yourself. So I think that's going to be it for my review this week. And you guys take care, and I'll talk to you on the next video.